Hi, this is your host Sayyid Irfan Ajmal, and today I'm going to discuss something which I used to have a very negative opinion about. So, I am, of course, talking about automated outreach or outreach at scale. So, remember when I say automated outreach, I'm not talking about 100% automated outreach, but rather semi automated outreach. So you probably have received emails where um, you get asked by someone who um, seems like he or she is not a real person. Like you can't see their social media profiles. They are typically using Gmail addresses, and they have like a weird or strange name, like something like Einstein or Stephen Hawking at gmail.com, or John Cena at gmail.com, and they are asking you for a link. So please note that I had the same sort of perception when someone would mention automated outreach. But what I'm going to share here is actually something um, quite different, actually. So the process that we are currently implementing in this regard is making sure that even though you are reaching out to multiple people, that your email still is somewhat personalized, and that there is this genuine feel to it, that there is some kind of a context or some kind of a familiarity that the reader can find when they get to read your email, right? And also to make sure that you're not um, asking for like a massive favor right away, but rather you use a multi-step approach whereby in the first step you're just asking for a micro commitment. Okay, so let me explain what I mean by all of this. So let's say you have an infographic about losing weight, and you have shared how a certain diet can help someone lose weight, right? And then you also have some tips on weight training, and maybe how badminton can help with that, how running can help with that, and so on and so forth. Okay, so once you have created that infographic, what you want to do is to pick up one of the subsections of that infographic, whether it's the diet, or it's the weight training. So let's say we pick up the diet portion, and we try to find out who is ranking for a relevant keyword, like weight loss nutrition, or diet for weight loss, and then we find out that okay, there is a website called askmen.com, which has an article on the very same topic that you have an infographic on. In fact, in your infographic, that's just one of the sections, and of course you also have some other sections, right? So in the next step, what you will do is that you will take the askmen.com article, you will put it in Ahrefs, and you will find all the websites which are linking to the askmen.com article. Okay, so now you have found all the sites which are linking to the topic of weight loss diet, or the role of nutrition in weight loss. Okay, and remember, these all sites are linking to the askmen.com article, and you have an infographic which speaks about the same topic in in that visual asset. So now you may do some list cleaning. Some of it you may have done during checking out the backlinks in Ahrefs. So maybe you will remove, Chinese and Russian websites, any non-English websites, perhaps. You may remove any sites which have given a no follow backlink to the Ask Men article, right? And you might want to also remove perhaps um, any sites which have a lower DR, like say DR10 or something. And you might even want to remove sites which have a very high DR, like it can be DR50 plus in your case, or DR70 plus, or DR90 plus, because you might want to make sure that in those cases you are in the case of these extremely large websites, you are doing perhaps completely manual customized outreach to every single a target person. Okay. But for the other websites, let's say the websites which have a DR of 10 uh, up till DR50, you remove the non-English websites, you remove the no-follow websites, you remove any other irrelevant links using the automated features that Ahrefs has. Then you convert that list into a Google Sheet so that you or your link researcher can do some manual cleaning as well. So, for instance, one example of manual cleaning would be um, if you have two links coming to the Askman article from the same website, then you might want to remove the site which has a lower UR or URL rating. So remember, DR or domain rating is the SEO authority of the entire domain, and UR or URL authority is the SEO authority or SEO strength of the specific internal page. So the reason you are removing the lower UR website, the lower UR web page, if you have two um, backlinks from the same um, website, is so that when you reach out to this website, you are getting the link from from the web page which has a stronger SEO authority or higher UR, in other words. So another important step of the manual review would be removing any irrelevant websites, because sometimes some of the results within Ahrefs may not be relevant because of the topic you have chosen, or because there might be a competitor's page that you don't want to reach out to, or there might be another kind of website which you don't want to contact, right? Or you don't want to get a link from. Another important feature of the manual review is the part where you will add a custom tag or a custom message within that Google Sheet, which will be a unique message for every single website. Okay, so what this will do is that it will make every email of yours um, much more personalized, and it will appear more genuine. And what you want to do is to maybe mention something specific about the author that you may have came across within 2 to 4 minutes of review of the article, of the author's page, of the author's social media, or you might want to mention something from the article, right? um, so this step, whereby within the manual review you review each website very quickly for 2 to 4 minutes. You not the website, but rather the article, specifically the author's page, the author's social media, maybe, right? It will add that required um, familiarity, right? Another thing that you want to do during this step is that you don't want to go ahead and ask for a backlink right away. Instead, what you want to do is that you mention, like I said, you mention something specific about the author or their article, so that they know that you have gone through their stuff, and it's not like it's not the kind of an email where your cold email is reaching thousands of people, and there is no relevance, there is no connection, it is evident, and it's evident that you have not done your research even, right? So it's not one of those kind of at scale outreach. Instead, I think a lot of your time will be spent on the research part. Now, after that step is finished, what you want to do is that or in fact before you can do this before this step as well. What you want to do is to add the email addresses as well, and of course you don't want to add generic email addresses. You may want to use something like hunter.io to find the email addresses, right? And for the sites which you could not find an email addresses, you can, I guess, if you want, you can remove them, or you can maybe try to find their email addresses manually. So that's up to you. But what Hunter does and what some other tools do is that once they show you the email addresses for different websites, the prospects list, it will also tell you how likely it is that your email may get bounced back, right? So in our case, what we do is that there are like three types of lists that Hunter will give. Like there are three types of prediction. So it will tell you that it's completely safe, it is somewhat safe, or I'm forgetting the exact title, but you know what I mean, right? And the third is it's extremely risky to send these emails, right? So we just opt for the extremely safe emails, and we don't contact the somewhat risky mails, or the somewhat safe mails and the extremely risky emails. Okay. um, what we also do is that when we load this list to Mailshake, we use Viola Norbert, which is integrated within Mailshake, to do a check again. So Viola Norbert does the same thing with respect to telling us the probability that this email may or may not get bounced back. So basically, we are doing the check twice. So the benefit of doing this is that you're not wasting time sending mails to sites which you shouldn't contact. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, this also has to do with making sure that your domain's email address does not get penalized, or has any issues reaching to the primary inbox of the recipients, right? You don't want to end up in the spam folder or under the the social promotions folder, right? So um, but the downside of this approach is that if your raw leads which you got from Ahrefs were 500 in number, after all this manual and automated cleaning and removing the risky sites and all that, you may be left with 50 cleaned prospects, right? So from 500 to 50 is a massive jump. So um, what you may then want to do is to add more sites to this list by looking for other sites which ranked for the same or similar keywords. So remember, I said go to Google and search for something like nutrition for weight loss, or weight loss diet, right? So you downloaded the let's say 500 sites which were linking to the first article that's ranking on Google SERPs, and that article was from askmen.com. So since you were left with 50 email addresses only now, after cleaning the list, so you may want to go to the next site within Google SERPs and download its backlinks as well, and then clean that list as well and add it to the original list if you think that the first one and the second one are pretty much similar, right? Now, speaking of the micro commitment, in the first email, what you want to do is to just say something like, "Hi, I saw your article on XYZ. I totally agree with you on ABC because I have had a similar experience," something like that. By the way, I saw that you linked to uh, an article about weight loss nutrition, which is from askmen.com. We have actually created something similar, and the best thing is that it's a visual asset. It's an infographic, and there are tons of interesting statistics within it, and a lot of tips about weight loss. Would you like to take a look? Okay, so that's what I mean by asking for a micro commitment. You don't want to go ahead and just ask someone who doesn't know anything about you to give you a link, right? So you make that, you if they say yes, what you will do next is that you will send them that infographic, and then you can do interaction and offer them that infographic. You can ask them if they want to republish that infographic on their website, right? Or if that doesn't work out, then of course you can ask if they would be interested in a guest post or something else, right? So that's another important factor. More importantly, something which we have not done too well in the past, when we were doing Harrow outreach, which we are still doing, by the way, and with this semi-automated system, is that we have not been um, actively building relations. So what we want to do going forward, and what you should do as well, is to make sure that you build relationships, because when you build relationships, tons of opportunities arise over time. So for instance, you might find out that you guys have some other common interests, with respect to the work you are doing. Maybe both sides might decide to do a webinar together, or host each other on each other's podcast, or do maybe you can do a ask me anything event for their side, or vice versa. Maybe you find out that your audience and their audience is kind of similar, and you can offer them a discount, or they can offer your listeners an exclusive discount. So there are tons of opportunities if you don't focus on just the backlink, but you focus on the larger win-win relationship. Okay, so we have started this. We think that we need to learn a lot more, and we need to test different ideas. We need to test our subject lines. We need to organize our processes a bit more. But I think this is going to be an interesting journey, and we already do Harrow outreach. We have done guest post outreach with a lot of success in the past. Some of you who know a bit more about me are already aware that I have written for publications like Forbes, World Bank, business.com, HuffPost, and several others, right? And of course, we help our clients become authors at different publications as well, by providing them coaching and whatnot. We provide guest post outreach as a service as well, where we do guest posts for our clients. So we are very excited about this semi automated system. And like I said in the start of the episode, my opinion about outreach at scale, or automated outreach, has changed completely after coming across Mailshake and Hunter.io, all of these different tools and techniques, which um, ensure that um, we do a good job when reaching out to a target person, and that we ensure that we are not wasting their time, and that we are contacting them in a manner which delights them, which gets them interested. And I think this is going to be a game changer for us moving forward. um, that's it for today. If you have any questions or tips or any feedback for me, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you so much for listening, and speak soon.